It's an exercise of sheer cruelty. And I think it was a tremendous advantage to Orwell as a writer to have understood this right from the start, to strip away the hypocrisy that underlies authority. And he'd done all this and come back to England and decided to go out to be a tramp and then to take the dirtiest jobs he could find and pretend to be someone who was going to be arrested for drunkenness and thrown in the cells for a few nights, or sleeping in the doss houses, or hanging around among the unemployed. He went native, as we used to say, as if he was in a colony, but in his own country. He'd done all this by the time that what we call the 30s, the great political decade of the century, had got underway. So that when the grand confrontation about democracy, communism, Stalinism, fascism, Nazism hit, not just Europe but the world, he was ready for it in a way. He knew what the subtexts were. And I believe that that helped him to be prescient. It's an interesting thing about Orwell. He went to fight against fascism in Spain, against the assault of Hitler and Mussolini on the democratically chosen Republican government of Spain in 1936. He went to fight more early than most people did. He felt it evident to himself that he had to put his own body in the way. He had to become a soldier again and a policeman again, in a sense, a fighter, a disciplinarian again, and try and organize a resistance. He saw this coming more quickly than many did. But you can read him exhaustively, as I have done. I can now claim to have read every word he's written. He hardly writes anything about fascism at all. He hardly writes a single essay saying why you should be against it. He takes it for granted that when you look down the gun barrel of Hitler and Mussolini and Franco and fascism and Nazism, that you don't need to be told what's wrong with it, that here's everything you hate. Here's every bullying father, every crushed, repressed mother, every sadistic prison warder, every exploiting capitalist, every racist and Jew baiter, every thug and bully and sadist and exploiter there's ever been, all rolled into one and then refined and double distilled and redone again, so you've got the absolutely pure essence of everything that's hateful. We tend to sneer, or I've heard people sneer, at the use of the word evil by politicians. By politicians, one should probably suspect the use of this word. But it's not possible, if you want to write morally, or you want to write critically, or you want to write historically. It's not possible to do without this word. Certain words are necessary. We can't do without it. Indeed, even the most delicate liberal these days will talk about the lesser evil, which, shall I say, is at least a concession to the use of the word. We can't take it out of our vocabulary. Well, he was looking it straight in the eye. And he took a bullet through the throat in Spain from the fascist side, and he nearly got a bullet in the back from the communist side. But before I get to that bit, I just must tell you, in case I'm sounding too solemn, that the bullet that went through his throat from the fascist sniper hit him right there, and it missed his larynx, it missed his carotid artery, it missed his spinal cord, and it just grazed his vocal cords, so that from then on he always spoke with a slight rasp in his voice. And he had to go to hospital, because a bullet that comes into your neck one side and goes out the other, it means you have to lie down for a bit. And everyone who came to see him knew that the bullet had gone right through it. It had missed his larynx, it had missed his carotid artery, it had missed his spinal cord, and it only grazed his vocal cords. And all of them said the same thing. Can you guess what it was? That was lucky. And he said, if I was lucky, I wouldn't have got shot in the throat at all. In other words, I should add, and I should make it plain throughout this, George Orwell had no belief in any kind of supernatural salvation of any sort. He thought that this was the only world we had, and we'd better make it the best we could. And actually he said that the great problem of civilization and culture will be what to do about language and morality and ethics, what to do when religion is dead, what to do when we know it's failed, what to do in the post-religious society. And that wasn't the least of his presciences, in my view. Well, I was going on to mention the bullet he nearly got in the back. At the time when this tremendous menace of fascism, this sadistic, pornographic evil was assaulting civilization, there were a very large number of intellectuals and of aesthetes. That's not always the same thing. Artists and writers and intellectuals and painters, they're not all to be grouped together as they sometimes are. Some painters have no idea what the hell is going on. Some have a better idea than many intellectuals do. Some intellectuals could probably make good painters, though they don't make very good thinkers. But there was a widespread view among the anti-fascist artistic crowd, if you like, that this was not a question that had no answer, because there was already, on the other side of the Ural Mountains, an ideal socialist society that would outlive Orwell's imperialism, the imperialism he didn't like. It would defeat that. That it would outlive the capitalism that he didn't like when he went among the poor and the downtrodden of England and France. And that it would defeat fascism by definition, that under the leadership of Comrade Stalin, a new world had been created in the East, that all questions would be answered, that no contradictions would exist anymore, that exploitation of man by man would cease, and that this was not just a potential thing, but an actual thing, that this utopia was already present, and that it was the job of all decent progressive people to fight for it.